Hello students, a very good evening to all and welcome back to daily current affairs discussion. So today we shall be discussing the current affairs of 23rd of July. Yes. So our first very important article is about the India's rice fields amongst world's top methane hotspots. So according to a recent report, the various rice fields in India are one of the reasons because of which India has become among the world's top methane hotspots. So first of all, let's discuss this report in detail. So according to this recent report, in last 3 or 4 decades, global greenhouse gas emissions from the paddy fields have increased to around 90%. So this is a major cause of concern because India is one of the largest producer of rice, right? And from that rice field, if more and more amount of greenhouse gas emissions are coming, then it is a major cause of concern. Next thing is, if we talk about the major hotspots in India, so here the eastern India is identified as the global methane hotspot. So eastern India, that means the parts of Bihar, West Bengal, Odisha. So these are the major states where rice is being consumed. Next thing is, if we talk about India's annual methane output, so India's annual methane output is actually more than that of Germany. So this is a major cause of concern. So the emissions exceed the annual methane emissions of Germany. And next thing is, if we talk about the methane emissions which are happening in India per year, so they are for around 3.9 million tons. That means around 4 million tons of methane emissions is happening in India because of the rice fields. Now, let's quickly discuss the reason that why methane is being emitted from the rice fields. What is the main reason? So see, consider, we will explain here. Consider, for example, this is a rice field, right? And this is the main layer of the soil, and this is the level till which water is filled in the rice field, and these are the crops, right? So now what is happening here? So this is the soil, right? And this is the level of water. So what is happening here, that continuously this surface of soil is continuously under the water. That means the surface of the soil cannot breathe, and if the soil cannot breathe, because of that some important microorganisms will become active, and those microorganisms are the methanogenic microorganisms. So what these microorganisms will do? Simply these microorganisms will eat all the dead leaves or the dead roots, and after eating these things, after digesting these things, methane emissions will come out. So here the main reason is that rice fields in India are continuously flooded with water, and this becomes the main reason for the methogenic microbes to be active. Yes, so this is the main reason that why rice fields in India are the major cause of the production of this methane gas. Now, quickly we discuss about the key findings from the study. So, what are the key findings? So, if we talk about total rice production in India, so it's around 154 million tons. And if we talk about the methane emissions, so they are 3.9 million tons. This is a major cause of concern, and in the report the future projections are also given that from 2030 to around 2050, around 25% in methane emissions increase can also happen. And the report also says that if we take if we use good amount of best practices, then around 10% of the methane emissions can be easily reduced. Now here are some of the solutions for the methane mitigation, for the reduction of methane emissions. So first is the alternate wetting and drying method. So see, actually this is a common misconception in India, that if you want very good productivity of rice, then you have to keep the field flooded, you have to keep the rice field flooded with water continuously. But this is not the case. Actually rice is a semi aquatic kind of plant. Semi aquatic kind of plant, that means it requires a moist soil, but it does not require completely flooded soil. So this is not the case, because if you are completely flooding the soil, then methogenic organisms will become active, and hence the production of methane will start. So here in alternate wetting drying method, what we will do, first of all we will flood the field, then eventually we will dry the field. So here our main purpose will be that we have to keep the field wet, we have to keep the field moist. It's not like we have to entirely flood the field. Next is the system of rice intensification. So in this, what we will do, we will plant small rice saplings. We will plant keeping a very good amount of space between them, so so that production is very good. And here also we will not be flooding the field entirely. Next thing is the direct seeded rice. In direct seeded rice, see, generally what we do in rice, no, first of all, we will plant these rice seeds in different nursery. Now when they grow a little bit, so then we will transfer them to the main rice field. So in direct seeded rice, we directly plant the crops, we directly sow the seeds in the main field, and we do not flood the entire field. So in that way also the methane production will be very less. And next thing is the residue management as well as reduced tillage. So just now we discussed that what happens with methogenic organisms, they try to eat the rotten leaves or rotten roots, all these things, and after that the methane production will start. So if you manage these residues or if you manage all these things, then production of methane can be easily reduced. Now, next important article is about India's first fully operational climatic resilient village. So here, which has become this village? So this village is Killai village in Tamil Nadu. So please understand that Killai village in Tamil Nadu is the first operational climatic resilient village. So first of all, please understand the concept. What is the meaning of being climatic resilient? Climatic resilient means that people in that village are already prepared. The people are already prepared that if any disaster happens, so how we have to respond, right? And the people are already ready for the recovery also. That means the people can easily adapt when the disaster is coming. The people are already prepared, and the community network is very strong in that village. So that kind of village, we can see that that kind of village is the climatic resilient village. So what is the name of the village? The first village, that is Killai village. In which state? It is in Tamil Nadu. So actually, World Resources Institute along with Ministry of Environment in India have identified 11 climatic resilient villages, and this Killai village in Tamil Nadu is first among those villages. Now if we talk about the funding, that means what are the sources of funding through which it has become climatic resilient. So first is the corporate environment responsibility, and second, the funding comes from the district climate change mission, that is of Tamil Nadu state. Now, I think this we already discussed that what is a climatic resilient village. So once again we will discuss that in that village, the ability of the people to anticipate. That means there people can easily predict that if the disaster happens, all these things will be happening. So we must be prepared beforehand. So here people can easily anticipate that what all things are going to happen. And next thing is, here the people are ready for the recovery also after the disaster. So quickly, if we discuss about the climatic resilient village, so climatic resilient means they are resilient against all the kind of climatic risk. So see, if this is the coast of India, so in all these coastal areas, what are the major climatic risks? Major climatic risks are, for example, cyclones, or for example, flooding, or for example, seawater intrusion. These are the climatic risks. So here, to become climatic resilient, what all solutions a district or village can energy, because eventually these disasters are happening because of the climate change. So if you use clean energy, then eventually you can deal with this climate change issues. And finally, the community participation means here the community have to get ready. The community must be easily able to anticipate that what all things are going to happen, so we must be ready for that. So in this way, any place can become climatic resilient, and only in the climatic resilient place the livelihoods of people can be sustainable. Because see, if you are not following any precautionary measures, then you don't know that tomorrow your livelihood will be there or not. So because of that, first of all, you must ensure the climatic resilience of your place. Everything will eventually fall into place. Yes. So quickly, let's discuss that what are the major interventions which happened in this Killai village of Tamil Nadu. So major interventions, if we talk about the ecosystem, so what they did first, they restored the mangroves. Why mangroves? Because they already know that mangroves are the natural ecosystems which can protect our coastline from the energy of the sea waves. Next thing, what they did, they desilted the Buckingham Canal. So why they desilted? Because see, if your canal is desilted, then whenever any flood will come, so water can easily go through this canal. That means, see, whenever the flood comes, the main point, the main problem majorly in the cities is that water does not get any passage to pass away, right? So here what people have done, they have desilted the Buckingham Canal so that all the flooded water can be easily channelized to through a passage, and hence destruction can be reduced. Next thing is about the energy. So here people have focused on clean energy, because just now we discussed that one of the important reasons for the disaster is that one of the important reasons for the disaster is the climate change, right? So why the climate change is happening? Because of the use of more and more fossil fuels. So here people are trying to use more and more clean energy. Next thing about the transport, so here also they are trying to use solar powered boat. And next thing is that they are dependent on the kind of livelihood which is not affecting nature. So mainly here people are mainly focusing on the scientific beekeeping practices. So these are some of the important initiatives which helped Killai village to become the climatic resilient village in India. And what are the additional measures which this village is following? So first is the green school program. That means in school only the children are being taught the important measures related to climatic resilience. Next is the cool roof technology. Cool roof technology means, for example, this is your roof. So on your roof you are using those kind of substances which can easily reflect back sunlight, so that you do not need to use any different kind of cooling devices. And next is the waste management. Next is the waste management, because if you are managing the waste, then eventually you are protecting the nature. So here these are the important things through which Killai village have become the climatic resilient village in India. Yes. Now, next important article is about the declining education budget in India. So, actually, this is also very important article. So, first of all, let's understand why we are discussing this now. So, see, as you already know, that NEET paper leakage happened in June 2026. And after this NEET paper leakage, the nationwide public protest started. So, public protests are at present happening in Delhi, Pune, Hyderabad, Bangalore, all over India. The public protests are happening because people want to show their anger, people want to ask questions to the government. And because of this only, this entire educational governance came into skepticism, that the entire educational governance is being questioned by the students. And if we are talking about the educational governance, then very important point here is the budget which is being allocated for the education in India. So first of all, let's discuss that what is the education share in union budget. So please remember, this is a major cause of concern, that the budget allocation for the education sector in India has been reduced. So if we compare from 2013-14 to 25-26, it has been reduced from around 4.6 to 2.5. This is a major cause of concern, because education sector, health sector, these are some of the important sectors in India, right? Because of these paper leakages, students are doing nationwide protests. So education or health must be given the highest priority. But as you can see with this budget allocation, only 2.5% budget is allocated for the education. And if we talk about the health, so here also the percentage is being stagnant. But more important thing here is that budget for the roads and highways are increased, but the budget for the education is reduced. Can you see the irony? Because see, if the people are not educated, they won't be able to raise the questions. Even if the infrastructure is good or bad, they won't be having any idea that whether the infrastructure is good or bad. They cannot ask the question. So this is the irony, that you are reducing the budget in the education sector, and you are giving more and more budget for the roads, highways, and for the other kind of infrastructure. So see, if we talk about the generation of our parents, so no, many of them think that no, this is very good thing which is done by the government, that government is building roads, highways, railway stations. But the point here is that this is the duty of government, right? because government is doing all these things from whose money? Government is doing all these things from the taxpayers' money, right? So this is the duty of the government to provide us the infrastructure. So it's not like government is doing any kind of charity. So here the thing is, if the people are not educated, they won't be even knowing that what kind of question should we ask, or should we ask any question or not. So this is the important thing for the education sector. So see, if we look towards the key observations, so here, see, if we talk about, if we talk in terms of the absolute allocation or in terms of rupees, so in terms of rupees, over a period of time, the allocation have increased. But we should not see in terms of rupees. We must see in terms of percentage. Because see, in terms of rupees, if it is increased for education sector, then obviously it is increased for the infrastructure or any other sector also. So here absolute allocation have increased, but the percentage or the relative allocation have reduced a lot. And major point of concern here is that for the school education as well as higher education, for both sectors, this budget have been reduced. Now quickly let's discuss that what is the importance of this investment in education, of this public investment in education. So here important thing is that if you invest a lot in if you invest a lot in this education sector, what will happen? You will get better infrastructure facilities, as well as if you invest a lot, you would be giving high salaries to these teachers, and these high salaries will motivate the teachers to regularly come to the schools and to provide good quality of education, and hence the learning outcomes would increase. If the learning outcomes are quality outcomes, if the learning outcomes are very good, then the human capital which will be produced, that human capital will be skilled. And if human capital is skilled, then your economy will grow and you can reap the benefits of demographic dividend. Because see, if you say that the medium age of youth in India is among the youngest populations of the world, so having the youth population is not enough. You must convert this youth population into demographic dividend. Because if you are not providing health facilities, education facilities, skilling facilities to these youth, so this demographic dividend will someday convert into demographic disaster and you cannot regulate it. So that's why providing good quality of education, allocating good amount of budget to education is important. Yes. So now see here, please remember this, that when we are saying that percentage of budget or overall allocation for education sector must be increased. So it's not like if you increase the budget, everything will improve. No, it's not like that. So it's similar to that government has said that all the deliveries in India must be institutional deliveries. That means they must be done in the hospitals. But if the facilities in the hospitals are not good, what is the use of that? So similar thing applies here, that it's not like that if you increase the percentage of budget allocation, everything will improve in education sector. But at least you can take the first step, right? Because your budget allocation says that of all of entire money, only 2.5% you are spending on the education, and that too for the skilling sector you are spending very very less amount. So here this is the major cause of concern, that this is a high time that the government should prioritize the sectors. Government must keep this education, health, skilling sectors at the top. Maybe if government have to take a certain amount of money from other sectors, that is okay, but government, this is high time that government must prioritize some of the sectors. So here what will be the way forward? That there must be increase in the public investment in education. And to what amount? Actually, national education policy keeps a goal of 6% of GDP. So in fact, in many developed countries also, at least 6% of GDP for education is kept. So this you must remember. And so if you are increasing this overall allocation for education, overall school education as well as higher education, all these kinds of education would be improved. And there must be improvement in the examination transparency also. That means, see, actually in 2024 government already brought that act, right? What was the act? That prevention of unlawful means in the examination, but still the implementation is not good. That's why a lot of leakages are happening. So there needs to be a good implementation of the existing government policies, good implementation of existing government policies. Now, next important article is about the recent explosion which took place during the construction of Teesta Stage 6 hydroelectric project. So first of all, please understand this, what happened here. See, this Teesta Stage 6 hydroelectric project, this is being constructed in the state of Sikkim. And what was the main purpose of this construction? So what was happening here? So in Sikkim, a head race tunnel was being constructed. So what happens in head race tunnel? See, for example, this is a mountain. So what we will do, we will construct a tunnel through this mountain, and through this tunnel a river will be passing, right? Through this tunnel a river will be passing, and then this river water would be flowing through, would be rotating the turbine, and through rotation of this turbine electricity will be produced. So this was the major concept. This is the meaning of head race tunnel. Now what happened in this head race tunnel? See, in this head race tunnel, the main thing is that you have to make a tunnel through the mountain. That means you have to what you can say, dig through the mountain. You have to dig a hole through the mountain. So for that you will be needing the drilling machine, right? So here, when the workers were drilling through this mountainous areas, so accidentally they drilled a rock. Understood what happened here? So this led to massive explosion, and this massive explosion led to a landslide. And because of that landslide, all the exits were closed. And since all the exits were closed, the workers could not escape, and this led to the death of around 15 workers. So this was the major issue here. Now, please understand, here you must understand one major thing, that why methane gas was present there. So, methane gas was present there because here we are talking about the geography of Himalayas. So, here if we talk about geography of Himalayas, so as you already know, that Himalayas are the young fractured fold mountains, right? So, here some parts of Himalayas are still rising. And if any mountain is active, then this is very obvious that fractures and cracks will be present in those mountains. And since when the fold mountains are formed, the rocks are being folded, and the rocks which are present in Himalayan mountains, these are the carbon rich phyllite as well as quartzite formations. So when these rocks will be trapped under the fractures and the cracks, over a period of time methane will be formed. And when methane will be formed, eventually this methane will get trapped into all the fractures as well as all the cracks. And now, if accidentally, if the drilling machine cracks that rock, eventually methane will come out. So this is the major thing about this Himalayan geology. Now, next thing is, if we see about the seismic zone of India, so here somewhere we have Sikkim, right? And here Teesta hydroelectric project is being constructed. So here Sikkim lies in the seismic zone 6. Seismic zone 6 means this is the very, very risky region, because this region is highly prone to earthquakes. Now, one of the major cause of concern is that the scientists had already warned about this methane emissions. So first warning was given in 2009, then next warning was given in 2024. So this is a major cause of concern, that even after the scientists have warned about all these things, still no safety measures were taken. So this is a major cause of concern, that why safety measures were not taken, why the methane alarms were not set there, why there was no ventilation. Because of that, the death of around 15 workers took place. All these things were the point of questions. So yes, if we talk about the way forward, so way forward would be very simple. First thing will be that there must be continuous methane monitoring, especially if we are talking about the Himalayan regions. Proper ventilation systems must be there so that workers do not suffocate. And very important thing is that real-time sensor-based safety mechanisms must be there. Because see what happened here, because of explosion, landslide happened, and landslide closed all the exits. So here there must be some kind of real-time safety mechanisms. So these are some of the examples. Now, next important article here is actually this is an editorial. So editorial discusses the recent Delhi protest. So here the article says all is not well in the Delhi protest. So we'll be discussing very basic things here. So see, first of all, let's understand what the news is all about. So see, one more article already we discussed about the education, budget allocation for the education thing, especially in the Delhi. What happened here? The police lathi charged on the students, right? Now see, there will be various theories. You would be reading in various sources that who started violence first. but whoever may have started the violence first. But this is a fact that the innocent students who have come from all over India, those students cannot start the violence, right? Maybe there may be someone from the party, there may be someone from the police, we don't know. But the main point here is those innocent students cannot start the violence. And what police have done? Police have lathi charged on these students without even analyzing that who is doing these things, why he is doing these things. Without that thing, police have lathi charged the students. And the article also discusses the role of civil society in democracy, because the recent protests which are happening, in that civil society is playing an important role, because civil society is encouraging the students, civil society is protecting the students from the wrath of police, and civil society is raising the important issues which are at present happening in India. So here, if important question rises about the right to protest, because just now we discussed that police lathi charge on the students, right? So what is the legal status of right to protest in India? The legal status of right to protest in India is that if you are doing a peaceful protest, then it is a part of your fundamental right. That means freedom of speech and expression, as well as right to peaceful assembly. So if you are doing peaceful protest, then no one can stop you, right? But if the violence starts, then police have to take the action for the protection of the other people, right? So here simply we can discuss about the reasonable restrictions. Reasonable restrictions means that if you are affecting the public order, then this your right to protest can be restricted. So what will be the state duty? State duty is to balance the public order as well as the fundamental rights. So here see, completely we cannot say that the action of all the policemen were wrong. See, if anything wrong is happening, or if someone is instigating the public, then police have to take the action. So we cannot say the action of all the police forces were wrong. But yes, the police must have analyzed that what all things are happening, who started the violence, then police must have not taken any kind of action, because this is very wrong that you are lathi charging on people who are unarmed, because lathi charging or lathi charging or affecting the people who do not have any arms, this is kind of illegal in the Indian system. So here, if we talk about the overall governance challenges in India, so first is about the examination integrity. That means from past many years, paper leaks are happening. In 2024, though government have brought that act. Yes, government already brought one act in 2024 that you cannot use illegal means in the examination. Still, all these things are happening. So this raises a very important question on examination integrity. Second question is on the public trust. That means, see, the students are doing protests from many days, but still government is not ready to discuss the actual issue. So here now a perception is built, right? That now students have the perception that no matter what we do, government is not ready to discuss the actual public issues. So this is the question of public trust also. Next is the youth aspirations. See, why people from all over India are coming. So it's not like all the people have same ideology. No, different people might be having different ideology, but the problem is same. What is the problem? Paper leakages, no employment. These are the important problems. So here the youth aspirations are rising, but no avenues are there to address those aspirations. Next is the grievance redressal. Grievance redressal means, see, maybe a government may listen to the students after 1 year or 2 years. But what is the meaning of hearing after 1 year or 2 years if the students are already protesting from past 1 month? So here the value is how speedily you are addressing those grievances. It's not like that government would say that I have addressed after 4 years or 5 years. What is the meaning for that? So here in a functional democracy, grievance redressal must be very, very fast. And next thing is about the democratic freedoms. That means you have to balance law and order along with the fundamental rights. So the police cannot use this excuse that we lathi charged because we wanted to maintain law and order. No, first of all, you must take care of these things also. Know that people have the fundamental right to protest. So if they have their fundamental right, you must analyze that how you can maintain the law and order situations. So basically, if we talk about the solutions about the student problems, so first thing is about improving the examination security. Next thing is the stakeholder dialogue. That means here the government must be, every time government must be ready to hold a dialogue or to discuss the genuine issues with the students. Next is the transparent governance. Transparent governance means whenever the government is making any policy, government must put all the key points in the public domain so that students can also contribute. Next thing is about the democratic protest. That means government must always encourage the democratic protest. Government must always encourage the peaceful protest, because this is the only way through which government can be held accountable. And next is the employment and skills. So here, why mainly students are there? Mainly students are there for the paper leak, for the employment, and for the skills. So here, it's not like government have not come up with important schemes. Already schemes are there, but proper implementation is not there, or proper funding is not there. So government must focus on these things also. Okay.